Hi, I'm Dr. Lucien. I'm going to be your professor for this course, Safety 388, Occupational Safety and Health Standards and Applications. This is a completely online section of the course for fall 2020. The picture of the Oompa Loompas are meant to creep you out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this short. I'm just going to tell you what the course is, basically what I'm all about as a professor, how the course is designed, breakdown of what I expect from you, and then end with some tips. So the way I teach, even though we're using one textbook, I typically don't use textbooks in my courses, is I pretty consistently speak to, that's a better word, regularly speak to people outside who hire my students or at least work in the field. And I let them know what I'm doing at Whitewater and what my students are doing in the classes. And they kind of give me feedback as far as how to best prepare you, if you are going into safety, for early career success. And so I view my students as products that I'm bringing to market. And so therefore, I have a vested interest in not only having you learn, but be able to apply what I teach. So I've designed this course and several other courses to make it more practical, more pragmatic. One belief I have is that the practice of safety is very much a continuous problem-solving effort, and therefore I'm going to try and challenge you to be able to frame and solve different types of problems. And I believe anyway, that the process of learning in a structured course such as this is very similar to developing problem-solving skills. So I see a lot of correlation between the two. So instead of giving you quizzes and exams, we're going to do, I want you to share with me kind of the main lessons that you take out of all the lectures and what sort of information you're getting out of the readings. Versus me having you recite things, I want you to tell me what's most important to you. So for me, I'm trying to get you to connect to the material more than I am having you just to memorize bits of information. Maybe a little bit different than what you're used to. So the beginning of the lecture, beginning of the semester, beginning of the course, we're going to focus on assessment techniques. That's the foundation of the practice of safety. I am going to focus on professionalism. I'm going to begin the semester with reminding you and informing you, but then by the end, I'm hoping you have understood what that means. I would like to bring in some of my friends, people I really respect, to share some of their knowledge, their experience, but in the same regard, I also want to provide you with opportunities for mentorship this semester, just because then you'll get another person's perspective on different topics we're covering. And then we're going to wrap everything up with a real world project that you're going to select, because it's going to be what sort of work environments do you have access to. And over the summer, we were able to accomplish that. Everybody had access. The basic objectives, I'll be referring to these throughout the semester, but I do focus on trying to get you to take away these or improve these main areas. I'm not going to read them. Here's the grading. It is very simple, I think. So every week, you'll have a short weekly assignment, and believe me, it will be short. You'll have a weekly reflection, and then you'll have a weekly discussion, and those will change depending on whether you're meeting with me, whether you're meeting with a mentor, or whether it's just a current topic that I happen to bring up that week. What we're having here is, you have 1 to 2 lectures per week, so please watch that. I want you to read or visit the web links that I provide, and then just sort of summarize, the main things you took away. Each assignment will detail this. The reflection is how you connected to it. The discussion will be even further in depth. And then we've got the final paper. I will ask you to please complete a pre-course survey. Finish it by the end of the first week. It's just for me to get a little bit more in depth, more information from you, since it's going to be mostly online. I had mentioned just a moment ago about mentoring. So I'll be asking for volunteers to act as mentors. And what I'll do is I'll assign mentors based on how you respond to the survey, based on what your interests are. And then you'll have 2 weeks in which to contact them and set up a time to interview them. And then you'll share the responses of the interviews. And I did this over the summer, and the students loved it. It was one of their favorite parts of the course. I also want you talking to each other. So some weeks the discussion will be amongst yourselves. Others, it'll just be you reporting. Other times it will just be you and I. And when we talk, the discussion will be behavioral interviewing. I'm going to put you through some scenarios, and I want to see how you're able to apply some of the concepts we've been talking about or covering in the lectures. I think you'll like it. Again, over the summer, the students liked it. And it was a compressed 6-week class and not a 16 week, so they had to cover a lot more in a short period of time. So here's the basic layout. Even though it is asynchronous, you can do the stuff when you want. I want to compartmentalize it to weeks. So for week 1, it's just lecture 1. Week 2, it's lectures 2 and 3. And then there's another point in which there's just one lecture, and that's during Thanksgiving break, I guess you'd call it that. And then the week that would be for final exams, we're going to do presentations. You can either be one-on-one or as a group. I'd rather it be a group so we can hear from each other. But that'll be your basic applied project. And so we'll assign that early November, and you'll have basically 6 weeks to work on it. Over the summer, they all finished it in under 2 hours, maybe 3 hours depending on the length. So not asking too much here. I used to, when I was in the classroom, started doing something called the course binder. And here are the elements here. They're all predicated on Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And if you've never heard of Stephen Covey, ask your parents. Because Gen Xers like me, we had the Franklin Planner, and it meant to keep us organized and to-do lists and reflect on what we're doing and learning and who we're meeting. And it made us more effective, made us more productive. If you have difficulty setting time aside and figuring out how to get through the material, I have 3 really good lectures here. These experts talk about studying smarter and not harder, and I totally agree with what they say. My final slide, it is my final slide. I usually talk and talk and talk. You guys are really fortunate here. I do play Fortnite, so if you want to ask me about that, I'm not very good. So here's what you need to do for the class. One is watch all the videos, check out all the readings, and check out the web links that I provide. That's what I'm asking you to do. I will provide guidance on certain things that are more important, and you'll find that out as we go. I will be providing probably every 2 weeks a review of what everybody's doing as far as how much time you're spending on Canvas, how many items you're touching per week, and then compare that to what your scores are. And I'll do that every 2 weeks. Bi-weekly should be enough. And I will reach, if I find that anybody's falling behind or not doing as much as they should, I will reach out to you. I'm here to kind of just coach and mentor you through this, this course. And it's more important that you make connections to the material, to either things you're experienced, or may experience in the future, than it is to remember certain aspects. Because I also want you to demonstrate to me that you can look things up. And so this is a little bit of a different course than you're probably used to. It's very different than I see what my peers are building and delivering, but I think you'll get a lot more out of it. I think you'll find it more enjoyable. And, I'm always looking for superstars in the safety field that I can find, to introduce to friends out in the field for internships or whatever it might be. So if that's you, show me. I'll be happy to work with you. And I guess the last thing I want to say is ask me questions. Please ask me questions. I'm only a WebEx appointment away, and I can answer your questions or I can demonstrate something. So look forward to working with you this semester.